what we're going to do is do something a little bit, I want to change it a little bit better because there were things that I talked about that we're not doing. So if you remember the tools, the prompt, and all that, where did that come from? So let's make our app a little bit better, and then we'll stop and we'll do the second one. So we're going to leave that there. We're not going to change any names yet, so that's fine. But we need to talk about. We just did one tool, okay, and that's it. But what we did first was we just created a basic Python, right? So we have a tool. Remember our comment that we have tools, and then we have references, and then we have other things. So what we're going to do is we're going to minimize our tool because we're not going to change it much. But let's see, our Van Halen search song, we're going to leave it the same. We're passing that in, async. That's correct because we're using this as our async. As client results. Okay, so this isn't going to change. That's fine. What is going to change is if not results, Van Halen, this is going to change. Okay. No, no. We're gonna leave it as is. Okay, so but what we are gonna do now is create a resource. Okay, so let's go up here and let's grab this cute little thing just to make it nice and cute. Let's go down to here, and this is gonna be our resource. Okay, and in our resource, what we're gonna do is we're going to say the cool thing about that is we have an MCP.resource. Okay. So if you remember, we talked earlier that you have resources and then you have prompts, and we're going to build a prompt, and then you have tools. Okay. So in our resource, what we're going to do is define get album info. Okay. That's fine. And we're going to pass in a value here. So album name. Okay, AUB, I don't know how to spell album, do I? So ALBUM, ALBUM. Okay, there we go. And then that's going to be get, no, we need to define it so this knows what it is. I'll tell you what, I'm going to cut the video and I'm going to grab some scripts that I had and we're going to copy those over. So what I did was I went to the one that I did before, and I just really don't want to retype all this, and you don't want to see me retype all this. So this hasn't changed. That's our tool, and I'll talk about this so you know how it works. Okay, and then down here, what we did was we create a resource. Make sure, yeah, I ended it correct. So the reason being is because I wanted all this right here. See these albums? So what I'm telling my resource is, hey, if they ask about these albums, here's a little bit more information for you, right? So, and then if it can't find one of those albums, then it's going to just come back with the basic. So we'll go ahead and grab this. We'll put that there. And the last one is our prompt, right? Because we said we need a prompt template. So we'll talk about that as well. Let's go down to our prompt. And then we'll call this prompt. Okay. Now, if you remember, we talked about you have those three. I don't know if I still have it open. Yeah, I do, right here. So what I'm defining here are these, right? So my custom functions, it's just a basic function. And this is actually retrieving more data, right? So this is retrieving data that I'm telling it to. Okay. And you'll see where that comes into play when we actually run the demo. So, and then it comes down to our prompt. Now, again, this is another reason why I want to copy from here, because this is the one I wrote earlier in my life career. Oops, let's go and get all this prompt. Truth is, I just wrote this yesterday. So just for this demo. So in our prompt, we're passing in our string value, which is a guitar, and we practice in our style. But this is kind of what makes it more. So I'm saying styles, right? Use this, use this, use this. So this is now our new MCP. Okay. Now what we're going to do is save this. Quit. Pick up. Okay, now. What album did Unchain release on? Okay. Okay, cool. So it is hitting, we'll just say always allow. So it is hitting our MCP. But in a nutshell, what I'm going to show you is how simple that truly is. Um, Let me try this. What can you tell me about fair warning album? Okay, let's just see what it says. Ah, that's what I was looking for. So it's one of the band's most aggressive, darkest, because we told it right here. So where did you get that information from? And that's what I was looking for because I would assume it would say the release, and I'm asking about these albums, right? And it's coming back saying it's darker and heavier. The Van Halen search tool, I have access. There you go. Perfect. Okay, so I hope this was helpful. The one thing I want to get across to you the most is that this really is just Python at the end of the day. We use the fast MCP builder. What I recommend is build your app without it to see it work. And then add the tools, right? So we got the tools, we got the resource, and then we got the prompt. And remember, don't overthink it. All this is on that website. Your tools is just your functions, right? Methods, functions, tomato inside Python, right? Resources is a little bit more data retrieval. For an example, on the albums that gets returned, right? So albums get album name lowercase. Well, I'm sorry, that's just return. But what that's saying is it's passing in the album name, and that's getting more information based off of it, right? So that's what that is. And that's part of it. And then down here, the return, your styles. I'm telling it to return this style and about Van Halen's topic, right? So, and then at this point, it's guitar. Um, I was going to see if we can do something more tricky, but it's okay. We spent enough time on this already. If you have any questions about this, I will delete this code, but you're welcome to ask me about it. Sorry, I'm just saving it. And then yeah, then I'll do another video shortly after this one on how to do one with a database, how to do a CRUD functionality with a database. And that one's pretty cool. Okay, anyway, so I hope this was helpful and good luck.